Hi, this is Wesley,
This is Ka'shenia.
and we would like to welcome you to the Underground Geek Shack.
Geek Shack.
So today we are talking about Noragami, Season 1,
Wes-
mind you. But,
What?
hey, do you want to know something?
What, Wesley?
Your wish has been heard loud and clear. May our fates be intertwined.
No. What do you pick up line? Ain't falling for it. You ain't picking me up.
All right, I'll take my 5 yen business elsewhere.
Like freaking towards the end. You know what? If you can't remember me, just let me get in bed with you. So we're going to talk about Noragami. Let's elaborate on this. So when it comes to Noragami, for those of you who don't know, Noragami came out, I would say, let me double check my date here, about 2014. So in relative to today, wow, that's been like 9 years.
Really?
I don't like that. Makes me feel so old.
I mean, we are old.
So-
What are you talking about?
Hush, don't remind me. Oh my god, no, don't remind me. I'm so sad now. So Noragami, it was one of those anime that was just kind of like, it didn't really go under the radar, but it got like kind of like meh reception. It wasn't bad. It wasn't all that bad, but it wasn't like the most exceptional thing. I need to see.
I mean, I
real
liked
quick.
it.
I mean, I liked it too. It was a really good thing, but it wasn't one of those things that a lot of people spoke about a lot. If you get what I mean.
No, I got you.
Around this time, Hunter x Hunter, Naruto Shippuden, One Piece, Kill la Kill, Nisekoi, Golden Times, Kuroko no Basket, second season, Magi.
Oh, Magi was a good
Shinibio.
one. Yo, Shinibio too. Now you just take me back.
Space Dandy.
There was this one was like under the radar because like you said, Magi was out, Space Dandy was out, Shinibio was out.
Yeah, and what's really funny was this, I think 2014, winter of 2014 was like our junior year of high school. Wow, that really does take me far, far back.
Yeah.
So when I think about the anime back then, yeah, a lot of people, especially you, Wesley, you were talking a lot about Naruto Shippuden.
Yeah, because
that was on everyone's radar.
Because we were in the middle of the war. I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Because during Naruto Shippuden, us being back in our sophomore year or junior year?
It was our junior year of high school.
Yeah, because we were all like, oh, snap. Naruto's almost coming to an end, and then all of us were almost heartbroken because we were like, well, the time we graduate, we will have graduated with Naruto, so that we were like, Naruto's going to come to an end by the time we're seniors.
And then I remember you started talking to me about Magi because that was like the new hit show.
Yeah.
I remember a lot on the internet around then, a lot of people started to take interest in the Space Dandy.
Yeah.
But then I saw like Noragami and I saw the pretty colors and I was like, oh, that's a really pretty anime. But not a lot of people were talking about it. It was like one of those, all right, it's an anime, it exists, but here's Magi and Naruto and stuff like that. So there was a lot of other things that people were paying attention to around that time, which, that's how a lot of these animes kind of get swept under the radar, is you have these other big names or something else that's just kind of like, whoa, wait, what is this cool new anime?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, even though Noragami is probably considered as a shonen, it's not really seen as a shonen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has action and stuff like that. But I mean, you have Hunter x Hunter. A lot of people love that.
Oh, yeah.
You have Naruto Shippuden, Kill la Kill.
A lot of people love that.
A lot of people really got into Kill la Kill because of Studio Trigger.
Even I got into Kill la Kill. I got into Kill la Kill. Freaking, what was it? Little Witch Academia? Yeah, you saw me watching Little Witch Academia a couple of times.
No, I remember.
Yeah, I remember. Nisekoi was
Magi.
A good one too. Yeah.
So there were these other anime that just happened to be a little bit more popular. But so let's start with you. What drew you into, what finally brought you, okay, I'm going to watch this?
So I'm still going back to when we were in high school. So at this current point in time, I was scrolling through Hulu. Because remember, I didn't have Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah, this was around the time where Crunchyroll wasn't really the big anime mascot it was. It was Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll had a few titles.
Yeah. Funimation was still around.
Funimation, I think, was just about to start streaming.
Yeah.
Because Funimation at that point was just a English publisher, or they had like their own dub team.
Yeah.
But they weren't like as big as they are now.
Oh yeah. And so, I'm just on Hulu, and I was like, all right, let me see. I was like, Yuki Yana's a Hero, already watched it. Cowboy Bebop, already watched it. And then I was like, Magi, it's all right. It's good. But at that point, I only had like the first 3 episodes, and I was like, all right, I'll wait. And then Noragami showed up, and I was like, what the heck is this? And so I clicked on it, and I was like, all right, I'm hooked. I'm good. And then it was a long roller coaster from that way on.
So for me, like I said earlier before, around this time back in high school, I was really busy during high school.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time for anime. There was a lot going on for me back then. So I would get my little bit of anime information from YouTube or just the internet in general. So when I came home, I would hear people talking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like I said, Noragami, I saw the pretty colors and stuff like that. So that looks like a good anime that could be watched.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have the time back then, and people weren't talking about it. They were just talking about Naruto Shippuden and stuff like that. So, I just
I remember the one time, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
I don't know,
remember
you're good.
there was one time I was walking through the halls, and it was like right after I had watched like probably like the first 4 episodes of Noragami. And I was like, all right. So I tried talking to one of my friends about it. They're like, dude, that anime doesn't exist. And I'm like, what you mean it doesn't exist? They're like,
no, it was given the Yato the Yato treatment.
They said that anime doesn't exist. We talking about One Piece. We talking about Naruto. We talking about Magi. We talking about Hunter x Hunter. And I'm like, golly, how does nobody know about this?
It's the Yato treatment. So I think that's a great segue into the next segment. So I'll be giving out the anime summary.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to Noragami season 1, Noragami is about gods, different types of not different types of gods, specifically just Japanese gods. You have Bishamon in here.
Mm-hmm.
You have Tenji. Like, there's a lot of interesting gods, and I've looked into this because I did study Japanese culture, and these gods do exist. Now we have Yato, who is supposed to be the god of calamity.
Yep.
In this world, you have phantoms, which is like the negative energy that humans create. And these phantoms can become really big and really strong and corrupt a soul.
Yep.
As we've seen with a corrupted soul, multiple things could happen. We were given a couple of examples throughout the series. One example, and this is a trigger warning.
Mm-hmm.
It almost made a person commit suicide.
Yeah.
Now, we say that is a very sad thing, but the way that they handled it in the episode was hilarious. I loved it. But these phantoms need to be defeated, and that's where the gods come in. The gods will come in and they'll, destroy the soul or destroy the phantom so that no souls get corrupted.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So we have Yato, the god of calamity, who not a lot of people actually know about. Actually, he's mostly unheard of. And that's sad because he's such a cool guy.
Wearing a tracksuit.
He's wearing a tracksuit. And you're like, wait, this is a god? He's a normal looking guy. What do you mean he's a god? You're like, what the heck is happening here? So he's a god. And then there's this human girl that happens to see him one day when he's crossing the street looking for my lord, which is a cat. And she tries to push him out of the way. And
turns out she gets hit by the car, or
she gets hit by a bus.
Oh yeah.
Truck-kun decided to pass the torch over to Bus-sama and was like, Bus-sama, I believe in you. But this is before isekai started becoming a thing. So instead of her getting transferred to a different world, she just became half ghost.
She just got knocked out of her body.
Yeah, she hopped out of her body. So she kind of did get isekai. She got half isekai. Because now she's in the world of the gods. This is where they got their start from.
Truck-kun said, you messed up.
Truck-kun said, I put my faith in you. You didn't isekai her. Don't worry. I got it next year. Because that's when the isekai started hitting, man. Back to all seriousness. She gets hit by a bus. she becomes half ghost, and now she can start really focusing on what they call the near shore.
Mm-hmm.
The near shore is where the humans live, and the far shore is where your spirit goes after you die. The gods, regalias, and everything in between, the phantoms, they all kind of live in the space between. And the space between is really thin. You can easily fall into the far shore and have your spirit pass on forever. Or you can kind of like interact a couple of times with the people in the near shore. But the way that it works, and they kind of explain it a little bit differently, is it's a little bit hard to understand. But all right, think about it like this. When you're walking down the street, do you remember every face you see as you walk down the street? Or better yet, a better example, because America's not really a walking society.
I mean, you can still technically
think about it like this: when you go into Walmart, do you remember every face you remember when you go into Walmart?
You make a good point, and no, I do not. It's almost like if you go into a restaurant, do you remember every single server? Do you remember every single cook, chef, server, host?
They even make a really good example of this after they pick up Yukine, which is a spirit that wants to live on, and so the god allows them to live on as a regalia.
Yeah.
So when they go into the restaurant, Yato said, "Here," she was like, "Why did she not recognize you?" And he was like, "We're easily forgettable. People look at us and they might recognize us at the moment or see us as people, but as soon as we walk away, we're out of their minds."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Here, let's do an example for me. How many servers are there without looking?"
Without
she said,
looking.
"Yeah, from when you walk in here, how many servers do you remember being?" And he was like, "Do this without, looking." And she says, "I think I remember 2." And then when she looked, she's like, "Oh, there's actually like 5 servers."
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing, which I find it really interesting and how it's explained. I like that. That's a really good explanation as to how these gods can walk amongst men, but people just like don't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
That explains something else that happens during the suicide scene.
Did you want to talk about it?
Oh, well, okay, yeah. So let's talk more about the actual thing. So spoilers ahead, of course.
Yeah.
So season 1 really concentrates on the friendship and relationship between, I'm going to say this is the main base of it, because the ending was a little bit rushed. They try to add an antagonist that really didn't take part into the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
That's my one con of this series, but we'll talk more about that here in a second. So we're going to focus on Yato, god of calamity, Yuki or Yukine, which is the regalia that Yato takes up.
He turns
and
into
then
a sword.
Hiroyu, who is the human who is mortal, but because of that bus accident, her soul slips out and she's able to walk amongst the land of the gods kind of and interact with them.
Her physical body just asleep.
Yeah, her physical body just falls asleep. And it's just so funny how many in places. The first time we see it happen and we see it like, done outside of the bus accident is when they're running away from the frog spirit. And he's like, you left your body over here. She's like, wait, what the heck? And it's just hanging over a fence. It looks like, a piece of drying clothes. Like, what is happening here? So this anime, I can see why it kind of went under people's radars, because there is action, but it's very repeatable action. A way for me to say this is, it reminds me of a magical girl anime where every time, you laugh. You think it's funny, and I understand.
It's but just funny to hear you say that it reminds you of a magical girl anime.
Because Wesley, every time Yato does his special attack, there's that entire sequence that he does. And I'm like, they use this in almost every episode.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's interesting the fact that they use it, but it's like, you don't have any of your flashier moves. You just, I get that, you have to lay waste to the freaking phantoms and everything, but I mean, like,
you're laying waste to the land of the rising sun. Desecrated. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. It's like, I like it. I understand. And it's the line that he says, and it's what he imbues into his weapons when he goes to send the phantoms on. But still, it's like, oh my God, this is like a magical girl transformation, but the magical transformation happens before the fight. You know, you fight the phantoms like regular. You fight it like a regular swordsman, but then you go to do the magical girl transformation, and that's how I know. I'm like, all right, fight's over.
All right, fight's over.
I'm not saying this as like a bad thing. I just find it really interesting. I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. It's an interesting little quirk, but it does make me think of a magical girl anime.
Yeah, I get it. I get it though.
Or another thing about this anime that I find like really cheeky. This anime incorporates panty shots at the wrong time.
I thought you were just gonna talk about the comedic moments, but nah, go ahead.
No. We can talk about the comedic moments. You know what? We'll talk about the comedic moments before we talk about the panty shots, okay? Panty, bra shots, you name it. But we'll get to that here shortly. So comedic moments. This anime is really, really funny. For it to be a shonen and for it to be kind of like how serious as it's supposed to be, there are a lot of funny moments. And I really like that. This anime was like a little bit of a refresher because me and you lately has been kind of watching a lot more like heavier stuff.
Right.
So we just got off the heels of My Hero Academia season 4, and I know it's such a weird thing to bring up, especially for an anime that came out in 2014. But you know,
yeah.
We've been kind of like watching a lot of heavier stuff, and a lot of heavier stuff has been hidden the scenes as of late. So you know, we just watched My Hero season 4. Chainsaw Man has came out, and I've heard how heavy that is.
Oh, but it was so good.
And I'm going to have to watch it here soon, and I'm scared. There's a lot of heavier things we've been watching to kind of go back to more simpler times where anime was just kind of like anime, where it wasn't so much of a focus. Because back then, seasonal anime was starting to become a thing, but you had more overlap. Like there wasn't a clear distinction between different seasons of anime. It was just a time when it came out. Because now it's like, oh, well, a new season of anime is coming out. You already know there's going to be a slew of new shows coming out, as well as some old shows that are continuing on or right about to end. You know, things are very formulaic now. Back then, it was just, all right, well, we're just going to release it around this time. For what reason? I don't know. It could release in the middle of a season. We don't care because you want to know why? Seasons weren't really a thing.
True.
Sorry, I feel like I'm the old man standing in my lawn saying, back in my day.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we didn't have seasonal anime.
We didn't have streaming services.
We had Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. The other anime people are talking about. Know how I found it? Not through the internet. Well, a little bit of the internet. But through Adult Swim. If it wasn't on there, then it wasn't a part of my knowledge. Where's my ramen? Grandma, you don't eat ramen anymore. I'm sorry. I went on a whole entire rant here. How about you talk about their use of comedic moments? Or how about you talk about a couple of your favorites?
Oh, yeah. I think the funniest things that I've seen from within season 1 have to be with Lady Koku.
She is such a good comedy relief.
Right?
And so, you know what? I feel like this is a good part to play into the freaking suicide scene. So let's talk about this. When we were first introduced to Lady Kofuku, and you find out that she's a god, you don't really know what she's a god of yet, because they don't really say it. Or at least, let me say it like this. Me and Wesley watched different versions of this. He watched the English dub, I watched the Japanese dub. And I know in the Japanese dub, they did not mention that she was a goddess of poverty until towards the end. And I feel like that was probably done intentionally for the English dub as well.
Yeah, because with the dub, they were just like, Yato was just like, yeah, you don't want any part of her. Just stay away from her. And I
like you're just like that. He's like, oh, that's my girlfriend. So we're introduced. At first, I thought she was like a human, but then we found out that she has a regalia. That looks like our freaking yakuza,
right?
He has like the look of a yakuza. I was like, what is happening? But then they said this one really strange line about her freaking regalia. And that was, she was like, oh, he may look scary, but he just likes looking at young children until they disappear. And I was like, whoa.
When
he has like this smile.
When she said that, he was like, when you say it like that, you make me sound scary. I was like, have you not seen yourself?
Have you not seen your face? But yeah, so Lady Kofuku, how does this play into the poverty scene? So when humans interact with gods, different things can happen. In Lady Kofuku's case, she's the goddess of poverty and disaster. So bad luck happens when she's around.
Top of, like this dude, for instance, right? He was on top of the world. He was like, I'm getting all these payments. I'm getting all these, pay increases. I got promoted. And then he met Lady Kofuku. Everything started tanking.
Immediately. But he met her in a very, she was doing things playfully.
Yeah.
So she appeared as a high school student. And what's funny is that the guy, as he was retelling the whole story, he did not see Lady Kofuku's face.
Yeah.
He showed it he
wore his face.
He had to use face over it. She was like, why are we using my face? And he was like, well, you're of the same age and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of like, but wait, you got into a relationship with her and said you've fallen so deeply in love with her, but yeah, you can't remember her face.
Right.
I was like, hold on, that should have been the first red flag. I was like, wait a second, hold up. But my thing is, what's interesting is kind of like the show kind of went behind on its logic. Remember how earlier, I think an episode before, it was established that the gods cannot be remembered.
Yeah.
This guy knew that he loved this girl and remembered her.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think, because when it was said that gods can't be remembered, yeah, the guy knew that he loved a girl. He didn't know who she was, so that's probably what it meant by gods, aren't remembered. Like, you can remember the person, you just can't remember the name. So, yeah, I'm in love with this chick. I don't know what her name is. I don't know what she looked like. But all I know is I loved her. And it's just like, all right, we don't really have anything else to go off of, though.
And it's funny, as he's telling the story and how he's saying, every time they go on a date together, disasters will strike and stuff like that. And that's when you see Yato, hold on, do you have a picture of her? And it's just Lady Kofuku. And he's like, I love her to death. And then he's like, no, dude, she's bad news. Plus, she's already with a man. She goes to Regalia. I was like, oh my God.
And it was
happening.
It was just funny because he's like, wait, you got a picture of her, right? And shows her the picture. He shows the picture. He's like, no, dude, stay away from her. Takes out his phone, shows Lady Kofuku again with the regalia. And he's like, dude, she already has a dude, and he's way scarier than what you might think. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So let's talk about the individual characters, because now that's a really great segue. We talked about Lady Kofuku and how hilarious she is. She's a wonderful character. I love her, to be quite honest. All right, onwards and outwards.
So we talked about Yato. We talked about Yukine.
Well, we didn't really talk about Yato.
No,
we mentioned him.
We mentioned him.
We gave him the Yato treatment again.
Yeah.
So how about you explain Yato as a character, and I'll explain his personality a bit and why it was such a major driving point in this in the entire first season.
So with Yato, it's hard to say because it's yes, he's a god, but it's he does how do I put this? He's a god of calamity. He does unfavorable acts that nobody else would do.
He does.
Yeah. Because that's what
he's a delivery god now.
He's a delivery god now, but that's what he used to do.
He used to be a god that would do unfavorable things, and this was during. I like how they mentioned or they showed the warring period of Japan, because not a lot of people really talk about that. Japan themselves kind of they either glorify it because of all the samurai that came out back then. But it was a very bloody period.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when, the Japanese people really depended on their god. Because for those of you who don't know, Shinto is like, it used to be like the major religion. And Shinto is a polytheistic religion where you have different gods that do different things. And they're just one of nature. And the gods, they're kind of fickle. They could help you, but they could cause some real damage later on down the road. Oh, and you pray for them at these shrines, and you give specific like things to help, make your wish come true and stuff like that. So wishing is a very like really, really big thing in Japan. Now, in modern Japanese society, it's kind of commercialized. Yes, you can still go to shrines and make wishes to the gods or to a specific god, but it's not like how it used to be. It now seems more like a commercialized thing, or, all right, well, it's exam season for students, so gods will make wishes towards Lord Tenjin. To help do better for exams and stuff like that. It's not focused. And also, it's more like you don't want to upset the gods because of bad luck could happen to you and stuff like that. However, Japan has also now integrated other religions like Christianity, Catholicism, Buddhist religions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what this whole show is based off of. It's based off of the Shinto religion and how people have chosen to only remember a few of the gods than all of the gods. Not many people I can actually tell you about all of the gods.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to go on a little spiel. It reminded me of my trip to Japan because I've been to several temples, and you learn about. Just shush. I know I keep talking about it, but it's just really interesting to me. But continue. Sorry. So Yato, he's a god of calamity, and not a lot of people know about him. Continue.
So now it's weird because now he does side jobs in order to earn money, but his payment is only what, 5 yen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very, very, very cheap. But
I mean, at least he's also trying to get his name out there too.
Yes, and he spray paints sides of buildings and stuff like that for people to recognize him.
Yeah.
What's interesting is 5 yen is considered one of the more luckier items you could have on you, to the point where some people always make sure they have a 5 yen on them for good luck.
Well, because then, we still have Yato, and then we have him interacting with Hiyori, and on the verge of him looking for a new regalia, because the old one went to go. Well, the old one was named Tomine, and then
her name now is Mayu.
She went to go work for Lord Tenji. So, yeah. So now Yato's regalia is weaponless at this point. So Hiyori wants to try and help find him a regalia, and she runs into multiple different phantoms, thinking, "Yeah, this is a spirit."
And phantoms aren't spirits. They're just a combination of negative energy.
And so then that's when we run into one spirit in particular, and which Yato gives the name Yukine to. So that's how we get Yuki.
So let me elaborate more a little bit on Yato's personality before we go on to Yuki and Hiyori. Or, we'll go on to Hiyori next. But with Yato, as we've seen, he's an interesting guy personally. So when he gets serious, he wants to get serious, but most of the time he tries to play off this really playful facade and stuff like that. And he is super helpful. Like you said, he'll do things that other people don't want to do, but he'll do it and he'll have a really good attitude about it. That's the thing that I like about it. When he was helping to clean dude's bathroom, he could have done the bare minimum. Could have done the absolute bare minimum. But, the guy was like, maybe I'll call on you again. You seem like a really helpful guy. And he's like, I feel bad for your payment only being 5 yen. He said, don't worry. And then, Yato was like, do you have an unused toothbrush? The grout here is bad. And he was just like, wait, he's going through all of it? He's even cleaning the individual grout? This, he's a really helpful guy. He just wants to help. That's a really good thing about him. Even when he's helping run a convenience store, And Yukine, being a moody teenager, he's like, why are we even doing this? It's such a lowly thing to do. And he's like, the owner of the store, is having trouble running the store because people are calling out and stuff like that. You have to help out when you can. Like, it's so to know. And then you find out that he's a god of calamity. He used to do really bad things. Like, he would kill people because people wished for it. The fact that he is turning himself around. Like, he's like, all right, the past is the past. I can't do anything to change about the past. That's the old me. The new me is completely different. And you can tell by how he's helping everyone out. I just think that's just super cool.
Oh yeah, and also the fact of how he's actually trying to take care of Yuki now. So like, is like now he actually has a responsibility to take care of someone other than himself.
Yes, and you see that for how earnestly he was trying to take care of when he was like introducing himself to Yuki after the first fight with the frog. Well, not with the frog. It was with I can't remember the exact phantom. I think it was like a crab or something like that.
Yeah.
And when he forged Yuki, when he gave Yuki his name, and Yuki doesn't remember his past whatsoever, but because Yato is his master and he saw Yuki's full history, he deeply cares about him to the point where he was allowing himself to be hurt because Yuki wanted to rebel. And you know what? We are going to talk about Yuki next. So introduce Yuki to us.
Yuki, as you said before, is a rebel. He's a moody teenager. And I mean, he like, in all honesty, he's a good kid. Just misguided, but still a good kid.
Yes.
And, I mean, I was about to say, we've all stolen things here and there, but no, I ain't gonna say that.
Nope.
Yeah, definitely not.
But he very much is a child, and yes, he is a child. He's a teenager. Yeah. He acts like it. And as Yato has once said, he's at that difficult age.
Yeah.
Because, Yuki wants to do what he wants.
Yeah. Like how all of us, when we were, I mean, because you and me were teenagers at one point, we wanted to rebel against our family. And, we were like, yeah, I'm a strike out on my own. I don't need you. Then you turn around and be like, Ma, I actually need you. Dad, I actually need you. Help, please.
Like, he wants, and
but then, like,
we actually see the deeper dark side of Regalia's because, as we've soon found out, the way a spirit is able to live on, kind of like how Yuki did, even though his physical body died, is because he's a spirit or he's a soul that wants to live on.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard thing to like really think about. And it's a little clue that was said, I think, during like the third episode, where Yato doesn't care about people who want to kill themselves because their souls are already corrupted.
Yeah.
And you're like, why would he say such a thing like that? And then you come to realize what he's saying is that regalias or spirits are the souls that want to live on, but they died too early.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of life in them that the gods are allowed to give them by living on as regalias. Now, they can't live on as like normal humans, but they can still kind of live on.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain, but in Yukine's case, as you were saying before, he's rebellious, and
like he did try to. I mean, it was sad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was sad when when he's walking around the city, right, and like it's getting dark, and then there was a little girl, and she was like, "Oh, you can see me," and I'm like, "Yeah, can nobody else?" And then she's like,
and
"Oh, well,
that started me off."
Yeah, when she's like, "Oh, you can see me," these little eyeball things kind of freaked me out, and I was like, "Oh snap, that ain't right." And then, she was like, "Oh, well, can you wait with me while when my mom comes to pick me up?" And I was like, "Oh no!" Like it was like all hitting me at once. And what hurt was when Yuki was like, "Hey, your mom's not coming to pick you up," and I was like, "You didn't have to tell her that." And I said, I get you in a mood, but that's just wrong. And then, the girl runs off. Then she comes back already tainted by the freaking phantom. And then at that point, she was unsavable, and I was just like, well, that's just sad.
It was really, yeah.
Yeah, because then like that's when I had, when you and me had our little talk about it, and I was like, well, if she could have been saved, you'd think she would have been turned into a regalia.
Well, as we've seen later on in season 2, at that point we find out that tainted spirits can be saved.
Yeah,
and they can be turned into regalias, but they're already broken.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, with Yukine's case, I want to continue on a little bit about it a little bit further, because that was the driving point of this. Is you see, when I say like the darker side of regalias, we see that they are spirits that want to live on, but we see that they are connected to their masters, so to the gods that help given them their names. And we see that every time they fall into temptations,
it stings
it stings the master. But the regalias, they feel nothing, because they're the ones that are like, oh, well, they were once humans.
Mhm.
Like, they were humans.
Yeah.
And we see Yukine fall into those temptations.
Mhm.
He's like, here, I can take this skateboard, no one will ever know because they can't see me. And Hiyori is like, why would you do that?
That's
stealing
the
is
same
wrong.
thing as stealing. Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm not stealing, I'm borrowing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a very teenage thing to say.
Yeah.
And then, him stealing the money, him almost feeling up Hiyori and stuff like that. All the things, him telling lies. And then the one thing that like got me
Mhm.
was when he was in the school.
Yeah.
Because he was once a student. He was once in school, and the way he saw the students interact with each other, they're all friends. They're talking about what they're going to do after school and stuff like that. And you're like, oh no, he doesn't remember his past. He doesn't remember if he was good in school and stuff like that. But what he does remember, or what he's lacking right now, is that companionship with other students his age, or him actually being a student, and him playing out the introductory to like, all right, all rise, bow, and then sit, the way Japanese students do every time a new teacher comes into the classroom. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
That just hurts even more.
Oh yeah. And then like, you can feel that heartache that he has, because like, he's telling the other students, he's like, come back, and he's like, why is it that you guys have all this and I have nothing? And I was like, that hurts.
Because even though he's living in the near shore, he cannot be in the near shore. And that's a weird way of saying it, because the near shore is for mortals. Yes, he lives in it right now, but he's not really a citizen of it. He cannot have what he once had.
Yeah.
And it turns out all regalias feel this way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, yes, we're still living on in the near shore, but we're not in the near shore anymore. It's rough.
Yeah.
And, I feel like that's what first season should have focused solely on that, because the kind of rushed antagonists. Because, all right, let me say it like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know how there's been a shift in media. Let's say specifically, let's talk about Disney movies real quick. I know this is a weird jump.
Okay.
But have you realized in a lot of Disney movies now, there isn't like a main antagonist? Good example, Encanto.
No, yeah.
Y'all thought the main antagonist was Bruno, because so many bad things were spoke about Bruno. Bruno's not the main bad guy. He's someone who deeply loves his family, but he left because he felt like he could do nothing to help out with his family.
Yeah.
And to instead bring him down by that. And we find out that the true antagonist of the movie was the perfectionism. It was an unseen force that was causing the family to go down.
Yeah.
Abuela's sense of perfectionism. She's like, I am the one who has to protect this city. I helped carry this. My husband died, and I was given these kids, my children were given the gifts to help these people live on. She felt like that they had to be perfect in order for things to go on, perfectly.
Yeah, because she felt like they had to be perfect in every way.
Yeah. So it wasn't like an actual like a person going against these people. It was emotions.
Yeah.
I really felt like this season could have been like that, where it wasn't like an actual physical force going against these characters. It could have just been like an emotional thing. We could have gone without, what I'm saying is we could have gone without an antagonist.
Yeah. No, I got
or
you. I got you.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, like, even though it still would have been emotion, it still would have just probably took the form of a phantom. But that's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, that was what was it, because he did become a phantom at that point before he did his ablation.
Yeah,
The
the
punishment.
ablation. Yeah.
But, media back then, this is back in 2014. So there still had to be, in order for an anime or a show, not just anime, for a show or a movie to do good, there had to be like an antagonist.
Yeah. And I think this is when the first one we get introduced to is Bishamon.
Yeah, we all thought it was going to be Bishamon because she's against Yato.
Yeah, it was like from the start, like from the jump, she was like, Yato God, I'm coming after you. Like, whoa, hold your horses. What the heck is going on here?
But then, like I said, we start seeing like this Rabu guy, and I'm like, this guy's such a minor thing. He's not going to play a major part inside of this. Or, he's just like some guy looking in from the outside.
Yeah.
And then it turns out for the last 3 episodes, we are given so much explanation dump about Rabu. That I'm just kind of like, couldn't this guy have kind of been handled better in a second season?
I mean, either that or like within the first season, it would have been interesting just to see hints of him. So then it's like, because like when we actually watched this season, we only saw him in a total probably like 3, maybe 4 times.
3 times before he became the main focus.
Yeah.
So before the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, and it's just like because like once you actually see him, you're like, oh, who the heck are you?
We aren't given enough time to really think much about him.
Like, we saw Nora. We saw Nora more times than we saw Rabo.
Yeah, like it could have, like season 1 could have ended with us interacting with Nora and her trying to like, the ablation could have been like the second to last episode, because the last episode could have been with Nora teaming up with Rabo.
Right? Yeah.
Or we could have, well, I know I'm saying this and it's very like a weird thing to say. We could have been given the My Hero Academia treatment where season 1 could have been 24 episodes. And the first 12 episodes could have just been the Yukine arc. And then the last 12 episodes could have been given the Rabu arc.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
But no, of course, we don't know. Okay, so the studio that made this
Bones,
anime,
Studio Bones, the same
Studio
people.
Bones made
Studio
this.
Bones is the same studio who worked on My Hero Academia.
They've done Soul Eater.
And they did Soul Eater. They did Mob Psycho 100. They've worked on a lot. They could have
made, well, maybe because they didn't, because what's strange is, and I feel like after we're done reviewing the anime, we should probably go back, because it turns out this is a manga. I didn't know this was a manga, but it has 25 volumes plus 2 specials.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't know about the specials.
Yeah, there's 2 specials with it. And you know what? I found out there is an OVA of the anime.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Like, so I feel like the anime could have probably been done something differently. Yes, I still like the anime. I specifically like the first part of the anime. The last 3 episodes, like I've said again, were kind of rushed.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The fight was good. I'm not gonna lie. The fight was good.
It was very shonen.
I wish we got a little bit more of a deep concept of Rabo, like with his backstory and everything, instead of it being all like force fed to us,
Because I mean, what we've gotten out of this, and maybe we could have gotten like a better example of it, or like you said, a deeper understanding of it. But with Rabo, this is literally all that we know. He used to be mortal. He was once a mercenary for like one of the lords of warring Japan, who was sent out to kill people. But when the lord didn't need him anymore, he was the type of mercenary where you send him out and he's really good. He'll kill people, but then you kill him to keep silence.
Yeah. And also Rabo, when he was human, he fought with Yato.
Well,
he fought he fought alongside Yato.
Hold on, wait. I will tell you more about that here in a second. So the reason how Rava became a god was because he was so feared as a human. After he died, he was given godship. It's a weird way to say it.
Right.
He was given, the status of being a god after he died because so many people feared him that he became a god then. So we could have probably been given like a subplot of, can humans become gods?
Yeah.
We're given that question, but we're literally given no time to like stew upon the answer because his thing was so rushed. Literally, what I just said, his whole backstory was literally said in 3 sentences.
Right. And then it was also weird because like anytime they like during this part of like the last 3 episodes, they were like, oh well, Rabu is the god of calamity. And then you're just like, what?
Isn't Gato the god of calamity?
Yeah.
But then they changed the verbiage. They're like, he's a god.
A god of calamity. And then I'm like, so is there multiple gods of calamity? But then like you never actually get to know the answer to that due to the fact of how rushed it is.
Exactly. Like I said, I like season 1. I'm excited to watch season 2, but I just feel like it could have been done differently. And like I said, after we watch this, I would like for us to read the manga.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you on that one.
And see how it's done in the manga so that we can deeply more critique the anime.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents. Did you have any other problems? Wait, well, yeah. Do you have any other problems with the anime season itself before we go into like the music and stuff like that?
No, not really. I don't think I did.
That was just your main problem.
Comedic moments I liked. Action I still liked. Story beats kind of hit, except for Rabu. Rabu kind of like was a hard whiff. Action still good though.
I know. I remember I was watching this. I was watching this late at night, and I was watching I watched basically the first season almost in one sitting. I got all the way up to the Appalachian part where we saved Yukine, and I was like, all right, this is where the anime ends for me. Like I naturally ended at that part because the story ended for me there, and then the next day I watched the other episodes, and I was like, wait, this is the ending? This feels like it could have been a whole different season, but it was such an afterthought.
Yeah.
But, that's my only complaint. Music was actually pretty good. Music is, very meh. But there's this one song that plays during every fight Gato does. It's like as he's doing the you've desecrated the land of the rising sun. Like when he does that whole speech, there's a song that plays in the background that I want to find. It's really, really good. Opening is kind of meh. Ending is kind of meh.
Meh. Yeah. No, I got you. But that season 2 opening though.
Oh yeah, season 2. That's why I honestly can't wait for season 2. Animation wise, it had its moments where it's really, really good, but then it's given, the anime treatment where not focused scenes or like, normal scenes, the animation quality kind of like drops a little bit. Yeah. That's all anime. You're given a specific budget and you're given a specific time to release an anime. It's just getting a little bit more worse nowadays. And that's because we're on a season timeline now.
Yeah.
But we'll have that discussion at a different point.
Is there any cons you had?
Panty shots. You thought I forgot about it. Why is it at the most mundane random points, Hirori is a high schooler, a second year. she's a junior in high school. Why is it when she's getting examined, we're giving a random bra shot? Okay, the camera didn't have to dip down that low or the shirt didn't have to be risen up that high. But I get it. She's being examined. Nothing wrong here. Fight with the frog phantom. Panty shot. I see your game. And then they had me because I was like, okay, maybe they only did that for the first 3 episodes to get people's attention. Nope. Towards the end of the anime, panty shot. When she loses her memory and she's on the scene, panty shot. I was like, what is this anime? You had me. And then you just put in these random panty shots. And I'm like, these are panty shots with no sustenance.
They're just like, just in case you forgot.
I know that's such a random thing to rant about. And I'm not one of those people where I'm just like, ooh, panty shots shouldn't be in the anime because that's such a lowbrow. No, I understand how they can be done very tastefully, and I know that they can be used for comedic moments, and I'm all for that. I don't care. I'm not one of those people that complain about women are treated badly in anime. Shut up. It's an anime. It's not real life. But here's the thing, man. If you're going to include panty shots, make it make sense. Why is it just a random penny shot? Like, why is it like a focus? It's literally in the middle of the screen. When she's being dragged away by the freaking frog demon or the frog phantom. All right, that's my rant. I'm done with the penny shots. The first time they did it, I was like, this is a little sus, but I'll accept it. Then I saw that they were just doing it. I was like, what is this?
See, at times I was just like the first 3 times that it happened, I just ignored it because I was just like, I'm only invested in the action that's happening right now. And then I was like, all right. And then the last 3 times that it happened, I was like, what the heck? Why?
Exactly.
We don't need these right now.
This is a very serious moment. This could be life or death for Yato, Hirori, and Yukine. Penny shot. What? Why is that there? It's like finding an M&M in a bag of Skittles. You're just like, what is this? I'm glad I was able to make you giggle, and I'm glad that this is the way that we're ending this episode.
You're right.
Is the utilization of how to use panty shots.
Why did we have to end it on that?
Why else? What, you thought I was going to ask a question? No. We're going to end this my way.
All right, guys. 1, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment if you've seen Noragami.
Yeah, please let us know, because I feel like not enough people talk about this, in all honesty.
Yeah. And I guess we will see you next time. So,
all right. Thank you all for visiting, and we hope you enjoyed your visit at
the Underground Geek Shack.
Underground Geek Shack. See you guys.
See you guys.